Hi, everyone. Welcome to Child Development 4120, Cal State LA. I am going to go over some suggestions for your group research presentation. Um, a lot of the common questions that I've been getting about this project. So hopefully with the samples that I show you, will give you a good indication of where you can go with your research. If you have other pressing questions, you can always email me. My availability is going to be very limited this week, obviously because we're not in class. But I will still make an effort to go back and respond to my emails. So please feel free to email me your questions. So I'm going to begin by um, sharing my screen, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to show you an example of some work from students. A rubric was different than what you have, but it's very similar. So here is an example of what not to do. I like sharing the don'ts because maybe you're making this mistake, and hopefully with this video you'll be able to avoid that mistake. PowerPoint is not your presentation. A PowerPoint is a guide to your presentation. So if you look at the rubric, on the rubric, it does state that your slides should not have overwhelm text, information, pictures, should not have any videos. What that does, it takes away from your presentation. I don't want you reading the slides for me. I can read on my own. I don't need for you to include all the information there because then you're gonna have me focus on the PowerPoint instead of listening to your presentation. But you are going to be graded on the content of the information, and what that does, it shows competency with your research. I'm not looking for you to memorize all the data. I am looking for you to present a cohesive presentation of the research that you conducted based on the rubric. With that said, this group took it very literal, right? There's not a lot of information here, but I'll show you the errors where they got dock points. So they focus on elder abuse. Here's their thesis statement. Here's their hypothesis. And then they went into elder physical abuse. So the first thing that I noticed, a big error, is the citation. When you're citing the book, this is not the proper citation. The proper citation for a book is Miller-Perrin, Perrin, and Renzetti. 2020 if you're using the hardcover, 2021 if you're using the PDF. I appreciate that they did cite here on the subheader, but it's missing the full citation. So every single slide that has a reference, you need to have the full citation at the bottom. That is on the rubric, and every section of the rubric is graded for it, as well as the APA grading section. So you're going to pretty much be graded twice in it. Make sure you don't make this mistake. When you have your reference on the subheader, that tells me that all the bullet points come from that same reference, which is perfectly fine. This group did it the way that they should. Like I said, however, it's missing the full citation at the bottom. The full citation at the bottom can be very small. It doesn't have to be the same font size. And I'll show you an example of a group that did a really good job with that. Here's a risk factor. So here they did have the full citation at the bottom, but they're missing the in-text citation. So this slide shows the in-text citation without the full reference. This one has the full reference without the citation. If all this research came from the book, then you would cite the book next to the subheader, the same font size, font style. Notice at the citation here, this is the proper citation, Miller-Perrin, Renzetti, and then the 2020 edition. Here is, it's on the rubric, your font text needs to be cohesive in an aesthetic manner, which means the font needs to be the same. Not sure why the font here changed, but keep it the same size as your subheaders. Again, they have the in-text citation, but they're missing the full citation, just like this slide that has the full citation up here. As you notice, there isn't much information on these slides, right? It's just bullet points, short phrases, not complete sentences. This is perfect. When you present, when you're doing your recording, you're going to get in depth with all the details of what this means, right? You're going to give me examples of social isolation, dependency, cognitive impairment, health problems. That's what your recording is for. Um, please don't feel or don't have more anxiety with this project, thinking that you can have notes. You can. Um, if you like to have a paper with notes on the side, my bulletin from math last night, you can have it on the side with you. That's perfectly fine. What I don't want you to do is I don't want you reading it. I don't want you having your card on the side. You can't see it, but it's obvious that I'm looking at something and reading it word for word. That's not. That's also part of the rubric. You're not reading from your slides or your notes. You are presenting the information. This slide does have a lot of information. Again, they have the full citation, but they're missing the in-text. Now with the full citation, look at this font and look at this font. All of a sudden it changed. Again, based on the rubric, your font needs to be cohesive. Your subheaders are a specific font, and then your bullet points are a different font, and then your um, full citations, preferably at the bottom, are a different size. But everything else should be the same. As we go more into the slides, you notice that the information is getting more. Like, for example, this one, now they're using complete sentences. When you start using complete sentences, it has a lot of information here. You're missing, you have two citations at the bottom, you have the book, and then you have the organization, but you're missing the in-text. When you submit work that has a full reference page, a full reference slide, or full citation without the in-text, it is a red flag for plagiarism. Not saying you plagiarize, it is a red flag for plagiarism. Given with the AI age that we are living in, that raises other concerns. So please make sure that if you are not, you're not plagiarizing by ensuring you have your in-text citation and your full citations, okay? The picture here, that's okay because that's part of the organization. I highly discourage you from using pictures because it just gets what's known as a cognitive overload. When you have a lot of information, there's just too much that your brain doesn't know where to start, doesn't know where to go. Your eyes are just, where do I begin? And then you get zoned out or you lose interest. And that's what you don't want to do. You want to make sure that everyone is interested in your research and your presentation and your PowerPoints. For those of you that have attended any of my extra credit workshops, if you notice my slides, they really don't have much information. And I get a kick when people tell me, "Oh, can you send me a copy of the slides?" And I'm thinking, yeah, there's nothing there aside from the reference. There's nothing there. If you're not part of the conversation, you really missed out. You can't go back to my slides and be like, "Oh yeah, I know exactly what he was talking about." If you were not engaged in the conversation, and that's the reason why a PowerPoint is just your guide. It is not your full research or presentation. I said this group really got a lot of points docked off. Now, not sure what happened here, but I did call them out on it and heard a bunch of excuses. Not here to judge them. I just said, well, I'm grading you based on what you submit, right? I'm not grading you on your intent. I'm not grading you on your dedication or the time you spent. I am grading you based on what you submitted that reflects the rubric. This is just a mistake that should not have happened. This is careless. So please make sure that before you submit, you are uploading the proper file. All of you proofread it because you all should have access to your research, and you're good to go before you upload it. So again, same error. They have a full citation at the bottom, but they're missing their in-text citation. Notice the difference in font. What's happening, right? Again, cognitive overload. This slide, it's like, did you proofread this or not? Because if you didn't proofread this, then your grade reflects that, right? So make sure that your reference slide is alphabetized. If you have numbers, the rule of thumb is the numbers go first or the numbers go at the end, but can't be in the middle of your reference. If you have links, make sure that the links work. So when I click on it, it should take me to that page. So please be careful in how you're using these links. So for example, we'll use this one, right? Additional information. here's a reference, but missing the in-text citation, so I don't know what this information pertains to. But when I click on that link, whatever is on this slide should reflect that URL, right? If it doesn't, then it's a citation error. So I'm assuming that the information they have reflected the information that's here. If not, it's going to cost you points. And I like clicking on the links to, one, make sure they work, and two, make sure that your research reflects what you are citing. Any questions from this PowerPoint of what not to do? Questions from anyone in the meeting? You can either unmute or you can use the chat. Thank you, Justin. Okay, I'm assuming no one else has any questions, so I'm going to show you now the digital poster board. First thing that comes to mind is cognitive overload. It's just too much information here. And I'm not just talking about the colors, I'm not talking about the pictures, but there's no cohesiveness here, right? Everything is just so random. They're missing they have their in-text citation here, but I don't see the full citation section. So for the poster board, you need to have a full citation section. Put it anywhere, make it the font smaller, and then that should be it. I'm not sure what this group, what was their purpose, what was their plan with it, because it seems very last minute. When you upload the work, I do have access to when it was uploaded. So if the assignment is due today, November 24th at 10:30, and you're uploaded at 10:29, and I get something like this, then there's a lot of questions that pop into my mind, right? Again, not here to judge, but I am here to grade based on the rubric. So this group earned 95 points out of 150 total points. I'm not going to share with you the reflective paper. But again, this is some examples of what your work should not look like. I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'll show you an example of what you should like. So there's a question on the chat. Cindy is asking, poster board is only one page. Yes. So the idea behind the poster board is, imagine you're outside King Hall, and it's 4:20, right before class starts at 4:30. So you have a lot of traffic in King Hall, people coming in and out, and you have this poster board, and you're passing it out to students. It needs to have enough information there where students might get interested, and it should look aesthetically pleasing for you to, again, build some form of interest where you're going to say, you know what, this is something that I'm really interested in. And then students are going to inquire about that. If it looks like what I just showed you, then you're probably going to say, yeah, this is too much. I'm just going to dump it. I don't know what to do with it. You want to make sure that your poster board is something that people are going to want to inquire about. It is one page. You can use any software you like if you want. You can use Publisher. You can use Photoshop. You can even use PowerPoint or Word. When you upload it, just upload it as a PDF, and then you'll be fine. Great question. Other questions?
Professor, when you're saying
Aurora?
about a full citation, is that like when you're writing the reflective paper and you have one page dedicated to the sources? Is
Yes.
that at some point all together, the sources?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
In addition to the in-text, right?
Yes.
The same as, okay.
Yes. In addition to the in-text, yes. So when you do when you write in a Word document, you have your reference page. In your PowerPoint, you should have a reference slide at the very end. This group didn't have it. That's why I couldn't show it to you, but I'll show you something right now. When you have your reference slide, and I will show you a good example I'll show you of what it should look like. Your poster board should also have a reference section. So the reference section can be anywhere on the flyer, the very bottom. And again, the font can be very small because I can easily zoom in. But then, no, this group doesn't have it either. No, this group doesn't have it. I'm going to show you one that has it. This one. Okay, so here is a really good. Let me let somebody got kicked off. Cindy, okay, Cindy's back. All right, let me share my screen and then I will share with you a really good project. This group earned 135 out of 150, and I'll show you where their errors were. So again, the PowerPoint can be as creative as you want. That's exactly why I don't give you specifics. I give you the liberty to get as creative as you want and include whatever you want, as long as you're following the rubric. The colors, the font, the format, totally up to you. But if it's not in the rubric, then don't invest time in it. If it's on the rubric, then make sure that you include it. So here's our introduction. Here's another introduction slide, which I remember telling the group, don't try to put things that are not in the rubric. I mentioned to one of the groups last week, if it's not in the rubric, don't put it in there. Don't think that, oh, this might look cute, let me plug it in. No, just stick to what the rubric is asking you to do. That's why it's there, because that's what you're graded on. So you have your title slide, you have an introduction, then you have another introduction. Get rid of one. You don't need both of them, right? So here is their first slide. What this group did is this group put the student's name at the bottom, the one that was presenting. You're more than welcome to do that. The recording, this is why you're recording the presentation, and I have the slides as you're talking. I'm looking at the slides and I'm reading you, writing notes. It does make things easier, but you're not required to do it. So again, if you look at their bullet points, really isn't much information. It's just a good indication of what I'm going to talk about, right? So this group has their in-text citation. They cited the book. The citation is wrong, is et al, no S. And then they have the full citation at the bottom. I think that was an example of what the previous group didn't have. They have one or the other. This group had both. The in-text citation here in the orange, on top, on the subheader, and then at the very bottom, smaller font is a full citation. Perfect. The only thing they did wrong is put the page number. Remember, in APA, you're not using page numbers unless you're using direct quotation, which is 4 or more paragraphs. You don't have the space for that here. No page numbers. Thesis and hypothesis. Very, very basic thesis, very simple hypothesis, and then they get it. There is no citation in this one because the thesis statement is what the group decided what they're going to prove with their research, and their hypothesis is the group's educated guess into how to break the cycle of abuse. No citation required here. Risk and starting points against the cycle. Here you have an in-text citation. So you notice that it's not on the subheader. That tells you that there's different sources for different bullet points, which is perfect the way this group did it. So here, Peterson and others, again, the ALS, it's ETAL dot, and then the year, and the full citation is here at the bottom. Over here, they're missing more of the in-text citation because they reference one, but they have 1, 2, 3 different sources. So I click on that and like, oh, okay, this is where they got it from. And I always like to check, is this a scholarly source? CDC? No, CDC is not considered scholarly. So although all the authors of the CDC are scholar, doctors, experts, but the website itself doesn't go through the same vetting process that scholarly sources at the university level will go through. That's the difference. That's why the push for making sure you use scholarly sources, and they did get points taken off. Risk and short and long-term effects, you can find that in the book. Don't need to do additional research. You can get all that from the book. Whatever type of abuse you're using, the book, every single chapter tells you the risks, short-term, long-term effects. so you can use the book. Again, they have their full citations here, but the in-text citation is missing. So they started off really good, right here, but then not sure what happened, and it's the same student. Prevalence in society, this one is missing everything. It's missing the in-text and it's missing the full text. So they start off really good, but then as you go into different sections, then it's like, yeah, well, this you're missing it. So make sure that you are doing it properly. This is their thesis statement. They cite the book. They have the in-text citation here. They find and explain. I did knock the group off because they used our textbook for attachment theory. Although the book mentions it, it doesn't go in depth with the full gist of what attachment theory is. That section, you're required to use a university database. In the university database, it gives you all the research that you want from John Bowlby or Mary Ainsworth, their attachment theory approach. So again, common errors in text, full citation is missing. That's usually where a lot of students get points taken off. So notice the Children Institute, it's the same website. It's the same URL. So I know that this isn't accurate because when you go to their home site, which is this one, home website, you're not going to have all this information. You have to start hitting the links or doing some digging to figure out what you're gonna find with the survivors or families. So that's another red flag when I'm grading. Like, yeah, you didn't cite the website properly. Social impact, survivors story. So this is the organization advocating for the work that they're doing for this specific demographic, this specific survivors. Most of the organizations will post their successes on social media. So if you haven't found anything on their website, you can always contact them, or you can always check their social media accounts. So this group, what they did is they recorded the 30 minutes of the PowerPoint, and then they added 5 more minutes for their poster board. I highly encourage you to do that. However, you guys are going to record with us via Zoom, which I think it's the easiest route to take. Then you can say, now, here's Jorge, and he's going to do the poster board. And then I'll present the poster board. I'll show you the poster board in a second. And here's a reference slide. I wrote up this is what I wanted to show you. So alphabetic order, they have all their references here the way they should. All these references are reflected on the slides if they would have cited properly in the in-text citation. So this is a really good presentation. What you should do, just making sure that you do include the in-text citation and full citation. Questions, comments?
So the reference page can include whatever was on the PowerPoint. And of course, it's going to be the same thing that's on the digital board, right?
No, because the digital board doesn't include everything that's on the research. So in the digital poster board, you're going to have less, but it should be the same ones. Same theory, same organization, same short-term, long-term effects. So you're probably only going to use maybe half of all these references in your poster board, depending on how much information you use.
So, but I mean, is the list of reference itself on the poster board, or just added at the end where it says references?
In the poster board, because the poster board is a separate file.
Got it. And so only one person should present the digital?
It's up to the group. Everyone has to present. So you guys can have 2 people presenting. That's on the rubric. Everyone has to present. Everyone's video feed and microphone feed needs to be on. I'll go over the rubric in a second, but yes. So the reason why this group included the poster board in the PowerPoint is because when they were done presenting, instead of having to stop sharing, open up another file, they just included it in another slide, copied and pasted here, and then they went on, they spoke about it. Cindy's asking, the poster board needs a citation as well. Yes, everything that you do that is not your work needs to be referenced and cited properly.
But I mean, if one person doesn't present in a PowerPoint, that person can present by themselves maybe, or with somebody else, or the poster board. Yeah? All right.
You're welcome, Cindy. All right, cool. So then let's go over to the.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go over to the. Where is it? The poster board. So this is the poster board. Like I said, they included it there because they were going to present after. So here is their poster board. And what this group is missing is, again, they're missing their reference section. Um, this is compare this poster board to the previous one. Which one are you more likely to read? Which one is more likely to get your attention and to actually read something? They have the topic right here, really big, sexual abuse. Grabs your attention, right? And then attachment theory, they have the citation, but they're missing their full citation. Enough information here to grab your attention that hopefully will want for you to inquire and develop an interest. It's a provocation for thought, right? Like, okay, maybe I know someone who can benefit from this. So again, the poster board doesn't have all the information that's on your PowerPoint, but all this research on the poster board comes from all the research in the poster board. So you don't have to do additional research. You shouldn't be doing additional research. Your theory needs to be the same for the PowerPoint, the poster board, and the reflective paper because it's one research for the whole group. Questions
Professor,
about? Yes.
sorry, I have a quick question.
Yes.
So for presenting the poster board, do we read out of the poster board or do you want extra notes?
You're presenting it, so you're not reading it. I can read it for myself.
Yes.
You're presenting the information that you talked about. Here, the information here is more than what your slide should have. Like, for example, short-term effects. It's more, but when you're presenting it, like if I were to read all this, it's going to take me about 30 seconds to read through it. This needs to be 5 minutes. So you're actually presenting on what it is. So in the Children Institute, you're just not going to read me this. You're going to tell me what that organization is, right? Their mission, their vision, their purpose. You might want to throw in a third success story. You might want to throw in something else that you didn't include in your PowerPoint, but it's worth mentioning in the recording. So yeah, the previous example that I shared with you, it was too much. It was all over the place. There was no consistency, right? Their presentation total was about 13 minutes. And again, I remember that group very clearly. It was about 13 minutes when it should have been 35 minutes, including the poster board. There's no way you're going to present all that information that's on the rubric and the poster board in 13 minutes. No way. Usually groups that score higher, their average time is about 28 minutes. Those that get a perfect score, which is very, very easy to do, are averaging about 30 minutes. And then the poster board, anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes. So have that in mind. The less that you have on your poster board, the more you have to present. The less you have on your PowerPoint, the more you have to present.
Got it. Okay. Thank you, Professor.
You're very welcome. Yes. Other questions? Great questions. Other questions on the poster board?
Professor, so I see they put the source at the top of their information. Can we put the source after the information at the bottom?
Depends how you use it. So the reason why this group has it under subheader, it's because they're telling you that everything here in this section belongs to that, right? They pretty much did that consistent throughout the others. Oh, well, this is a mistake here. So here they have the book, Miller Parent, and then they have a second one, right? Let me highlight it, right? But I don't know which is which because they're missing their in-text citation, right? So this is an error because although the short-term Miller, the book didn't do further research with Lemis and others, right? It's two different sources, but you need to tell me which is which.
Okay.
Right. So that was a mistake here. How you use your in-text citation, refer back to APA 7th edition, and it'll explain to you how you should be able to properly do the in-text citation.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Hi, Professor.
Hey, Sarah.
So I noticed there's short-term effects and long-term effects on the poster board and also in the presentation. Would they be the same or how will we go about that to explain it?
again, a lot of the information that you're required to have on the poster board, you've already done that on the PowerPoint. So there is no reason why I'm doing the poster board and you guys are all doing the PowerPoint. I shouldn't be doing my own research. I should be helping the group with the overall research and then contribute my creativity to put this together in a poster board. Your reflective paper is the same thing, the same theory, the same organization, the same research, the same data, the same short, long-term effects. It's the same one that you use for your PowerPoint. Good question. Anyone else? Oh, there's something in the chat. Oh, you're welcome. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and I am going to pull up the rubric and then we will go over the rubric and then I can answer your questions. Oops, let me plug in. Okay, already. So here is the rubric that you are going to be graded on. And if you haven't read the rubric, go back and read it, or else you have no idea what you're doing. I did meet with the group that they had a lot of great stuff, but it did not, a lot of things they had was not included in the rubric. And I told them, why are you researching without knowing what you're researching? You know, there's a criteria, and this is the criteria here. It tells you exactly what you need to include. So again, traditionally what groups like to do, they like to separate these sections for each one of the group members. Totally fine, you guys can do it any way you want, but there has to be some form of communication with the group so they know what they're researching. Hey, you know what, I was reading this article, Sarah, and I found this great theory. I know we still haven't figured out a theory, but check this one and tell me what you think. Everyone should have access to that conversation. This is why I tell you, do not text, do not do the group me or any other form of communication besides the one that's on our Canvas shell, because then everyone has access to it. If you've been texting with your group, I do not have access to that conversation. So if you have any discrepancies that is not on the Canvas discussion board, I pretty much can't help you there. It's going to be very hard because your text messages, the only one that can subpoena those would be a judge, and I'm not a judge, so I can't subpoena them. Make sure that you know what you are including. Section 1, this is all the book. Everything here in section 1, you get this from the book, you get it from our PowerPoint discussion on our Canvas course shell every week. You get that from there. Your theoretical connection, section 2, that comes from the university database. The book does have a lot of great theories, but the book doesn't go in depth with those theories, and you need to find the research from the university database that is considered a scholarly source. Section 3, 4, and 5, that's all your organization. And whatever organization you decide to use, and that's where you should find all this information. If you have an organization that does not have this information, then you need to find another organization, because there's a lot of great organizations out there that advocate for survivors of abuse that can give you all this information. When I put this together, I researched different organizations, and I found the consistency in what those organizations provide to survivors that helped me develop this rubric. So you should have it. Now, the one that usually groups have a lot of a lot of challenge with is the PIE, the Prevention, Intervention, and Education, PIE. Organizations have that now. Education doesn't mean school, that they're going to take you to school, you're going to get your GED or a degree. No, it's any type of educational resources that the organization provides to help its survivors advocate for that type of abuse. And if you notice, every single section talks about in-text citation and reference on the slide. All of them on your PowerPoint. Every single section is worth different points. If you're missing your in-text citation and citation section on each slide, it's going to add up. So make sure you include them. For the digital poster board, this is the only thing that you are including in the digital poster board. You're not including everything that's up here. So everything that's in sections 1 through 5 or section A does not necessarily go automatically into section B. However, section B's information comes straight from section A. So you don't have to go back and do your own independent research. You should have that access to the research as a group. Same thing goes for the reflective paper. The reflective paper cannot exceed 2 pages. And it's only 2 pages because it's only asking you to include this information that, again, you will find from Section A. And then the grading criteria, presentation was clear, concise, without using pictures or videos. Format of slides were cohesive and aesthetically designed, same font size and style. Live camera feed and audio sound on without interruption or glitches with presenters mode on. It's very important. If you don't have presenters mode and someone else starts speaking, their box is not going to be green and I can't see them. That will cost you if you don't have that. I did have a group that, and they said they had no idea, and I said it was on the rubric. If you happen to record and for whatever reason my internet freezes, it drops, what have you, it's a recording. You can go back and edit or re-record to make sure that whatever you upload, you're telling me what's here, what I uploaded, it's good for grading, and that's what's going to be graded. PowerPoint had proper scholar sources throughout and reference accordingly. Make sure they're referenced accordingly. PowerPoint slides were not overwhelmed with text, but include valuable information. Information was clearly presented with valuable information without reading slides or notes. You can use your notes. I want you to use these notes, right? Go ahead and use as many notes as you want. If I'm presenting and Sarah, I'm recording in my computer because I'm the one that's going to upload it. Sarah is speaking. I can't see her screen because her screen is not shared. So whatever she has in her screen can be her notes or what have you. So when she's presenting, she has all the research information in front of her and she knows what she's going to talk about. And then Section 9 talks about the reference on your overall work. And you can see the pattern here. It's very, very important to make sure that you're referencing properly. When I'm done, I will highlight whatever's missing. I will give you your overall total points earned for each section. I will add them up. And your total points will go here out of 150. I will give you some comments, some constructive feedback, and then I will upload this to your assignment tab, and everyone is going to have access to it. Questions, comments, concerns?
Hello, Professor. I have a question regarding the paper.
Yes, Justin, go ahead.
Thank you. I was in charge of that one, and I'm just making sure I'm writing one paper for the entire group, right?
Yes. Yes, so it's one PowerPoint for the group, one reflective paper for the group, one poster board for the group, and one recording. So there's 4 files that you're going to upload. Whoever is the group leader is the one that should be uploaded. And if for whatever reason they can't do it, anyone in the group can upload it and it'll go for everybody's assignment tab.
Okay, perfect. That's just what I wanted to clear up. It's double spaced, APA 7, and the references. Can I get some clarification on the references? I know it's there. It's just that it's I use the textbook. I use a university. That's what I'm like, a university source.
Yeah, I'll show you. So the university database is where you're going to find your scholarly source for your theory. I'll show you. I'll share my screen. All right, so when you go to Cal State LA website, their homepage, pretty much this is where you're at, right? Click library. And you guys are probably way too young to know, but back in the day when I went to school, the library, we would have to go down to the basement. And that was, now they have offices, they have the computer lab. But if you keep going down, they had this huge space. I don't even know if it's still there. Of books and everything, all the journals, all the articles, they were there. They were physically there. Now everything's online. So let's say I wanted to do a research on John Baldry's attachment theory. I would go to a catalog and I would flip through these index cards, and then I found something that then it had a location where I would have to go to a specific location, specific bookshelf. They were all numbered, and I had to find it, and I pull it out and I look through the page. Oh, now I got to go make a Xerox copy of it because I'm going to read it, and then I would put it back. Fast forward to 2025, you have everything digitalized on the university's database. So this database is pretty much your access to all scholarly research. There's different types of databases that you can use depending on your discipline. So my discipline is early childhood education, child development. There's specific ones that I like to use, right? So here you can go and I like to always go to database once I come to the library landing page database. And then there's 359 different databases. The two that I like to go is ERIC. So I scroll down to find ERIC. It's alphabetized because child development, early childhood education is here. Make sure you're logged in with your credentials, and then you pretty much type in here, right? So I'm going to talk, I want to look for attachment theory. And I'm specifically focusing on children. And then, clear. So this is pretty much like Google Scholar, but those are not scholarly sources. You would have to use the university database. And then all these articles come up. So then I just have to vet them out. Which one of these fits what I'm looking for? Let me see. No, not that one. Oh, this one. No, sounded good, but no, not really. Attachment theory, indigenous perspective, not looking for that. No. Oh, meta-analysis. Maybe this might work. And it just happened to say that this fits perfect to what I'm looking for. Then my thought process is, well, let me read the abstract, and if it fits what I'm looking for, then I will download the article. Right, download the article, read it, get the information that I want, and then that's going to be my scholarly source from the university database. That make sense, Justin?
Yes, it does. Thank you for the clarification, Professor.
Yes, you're very welcome. So the other database that, again, I like to use is, where'd it go? Over here. PsycInfo. And PsycInfo is psychology info. And again, my bias is because I always use this since I was a student. PsycInfo right here. And it's pretty much similar. It's a different database, so aesthetically it might look a little bit different, but it's the same process. Type in your main research point, other keywords, search, you get all these articles, and then you just start vetting them out depending on the information that you need. Those are my two go-to, PsycInfo and ERIC. Great question. Other questions?
Professor, one more question.
Yes.
So you mentioned that it's 5 different files, right, that we have to turn in. On the presentation can be on each slide, right? Or how do you exactly want the presentation?
The presentation is a recording.
Yes.
So the recording, you still have to upload it. So here, and there's
So
four.
it would be like, so we can upload it on each PowerPoint slide?
Hold on, I'll get to there. So you're uploading 4 files for clarification. You're uploading, and it's right here on the, where you find the rubric. It's the PowerPoint, the recording, the digital poster board, and the reflective paper. Those are the 4 files that you have to upload. If you happen to do your recording via Zoom, whoever's recording, when you're done with it, it's going to save onto your hard drive. And then that's the file that you're going to upload. You would upload it on the assignment tab. And here, I'll show you. So when you go to modules, my modules look different than yours. My modules they're all open because I created them. Oh, wait, I don't think this was them. Yes, this is it. So it's on next week, it'll open up for you, right? When you go to a group research presentation, when it opens up for you, this is where you're going to upload the 4 files, right? So there's 4 files that you have to upload, and it tells you here what you need to upload, right? So when you go to begin assignment, first one, I'm going to upload the PowerPoint. Next one, I'm going to upload the digital poster board. Then I'm going to do the reflective paper, and then I'm going to do the recording. The recording can be a little bit tricky because it's a large file. Here's my recommendation. My recommendation is on your Canvas shell, on the left-hand side, go to Studio. And again, mine looks different than yours. So on the Studio, what you do is you dump your Zoom recording here, and it'll convert it. This might take a while depending on your device capabilities, depending on your internet. But if you're on campus, you have access to great internet, it'll do it really quickly. So you have your video on your hard drive. You go to add videos, right? And then you can drop it here, browse files. Well, let me see. I'm going to find my video and I'm going to put it here. I don't have any video files on my computer, right? So when you have it here, Zoom, then you would click on it like if you're uploading anything, and then you would add the video. Or if you're going to do a YouTube video, great. Put the URL here and it'll convert it. And then once you have it here, it's going to come up here. So when you go, so if you notice here, I have my the videos that I use for my courses, 2000 and 4120. These are all your reflective videos that I use. So yours will come up here on your library. When you have it here, then you can move it from here to the assignment tab and it'll be done really quickly. Because if you're not doing it that way, what might happen is when you come to the assignment tab and you're trying to upload that large file, it's gonna take a long time. So the best thing to do it is do it through Studio. And if you have any questions, you can ask IT on campus on, I believe it's Palmer Wing in the library on the first floor. Right when you walk in on the left-hand side, there's a help desk and they will help you without a problem. But just a heads up, when you're doing the video, it might take a little bit longer than expected because of the size of the recording. If you're recording on PowerPoint, you can do that as well. It needs to be one file, but it's because it's a video and an audio, it's a large file. It will take time for it to first upload and then download onto Canvas. And so heads up with that. Good question, Cindy.
Got it. So for the poster board recording, that will be the last section on the recording, right?
Yes. Yeah. Great question. Yes. Thank you for reminding me. So when you're done, we're done. We're done recording, right? We're done with the PowerPoint. Thank you. Here are references. Instead of stopping and starting another recording, just say, and now Jorge is going to do the poster board. Hey, everybody, I'm Jorge Ramirez, and I'll be doing the poster board. I'm going to share my screen. Here's the poster board, and then go on with that. Just have in mind that clock ticking, that I have 5 minutes to record. I'm done with the recording. I can't exceed 30 minutes. If it was 28 minutes, great. I have 5 more minutes to add now to do the poster board, and then you'll be good to go. So like that, you do it just in one recording when everyone's present, everyone has their cameras on, everybody has their video, their audio and video on, and we're good to go.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Professor.
Yes, you're welcome. Because I have a question on the chat for the theoretical connection on the flyer. We just put the long-term effects. So it's not a yes or no answer. It's check the rubric. Go to assignments for the semester, group research presentation, and you check the rubric in the poster board. It tells you here statistic, type of abuse, definition of abuse, and your research theory. That's what you're including, right? You're including what's asking you to include here, and that's it, nothing else. The short-term and long-term effects, let me see, where does that have? It just talks about statistics. Oh, right here. Theoretical connection for long-term effects, having this approach. So this is where you are connecting your theory, you are connecting your hypothesis, you are connecting your thesis, and you're saying that if you use this theory long-term, it's going to help break the cycle of abuse. So for example, my area of research specifically is John Bowlby's work. If I'm going to use attachment theory, I'm going to suggest if the organization of, the first one that comes to mind is RAIN. If RAIN uses attachment theory with these components of the theory, then they're more likely to break the cycle of abuse because, and this is where you plug in your hypothesis. So the long-term benefits is connected to the group's hypothesis into how to break the cycle of abuse. I hope that answers your question. Okay, there's another question. Throughout the entire project, we are using the same references, resources, for example, the paper. Yes. So again, there is no reason why anybody should have done this work on their own. This is a group collective work. Everyone should have access to the same references, same sources, the same theory, the same type of abuse, the same organization, and we're just gathering whatever we need for the section that we are working on. So all the references that are used in section 1 through 5 will be the same ones used in section 6 and section 7. Okay, so the follow-up question about the long-term, short-term, and long-term effects. Doesn't ask for short-term effects, and the reason why it's asking for long-term effects, it's because it's asking you to connect your theoretical connection to it. So this is not talking about the long-term effects of this abuse, this is talking about the theoretical connection for long-term benefit of having this approach. So it's saying, what's a good thing of using this theoretical connection, which is your whatever theory you're doing, Why does this theory work to break that cycle of abuse with that specific organization? Let's go back to the previous question about the references, sources. Does it make sense? Aurora, you have the question?
Yeah, I have a question. So
Yes.
number 7, the reflective paper is a compilation of 1 through 6.
No, it's not.
Just
It's only what's here.
Precisely what's there. Okay.
Only what's here.
When you say introduction, definitions, okay, let me see, present thesis and hypothesis of your research.
Mhm.
Is that basically like the same, and should it be like the area where my thesis statement should go? 2,
Your
3
thesis statement should be
sentences,
this. Your thesis
close the
statement should be the
introduction.
same thing. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Your thesis statement is the same thing as your PowerPoint. It's the same one in the reflective paper, though the reflective paper doesn't call for it. You're
Yeah,
not
but I
coming
mean,
up. The reflective paper is not your own research. It's the group's research, and only using these components to put together the reflective paper.
but I mean, where you said present thesis and hypothesis,
Of
should they
your
come
research.
together?
Yes.
Together. Okay.
Yes.
And one last question, Professor.
Mhm.
Are you going to post this recording on Canvas?
Yes, in
All
hopes
right.
that everyone can watch it and go back. So
Okay.
just for a little bit of humor, I'm not getting any type of monetary compensation from YouTube. The reason why I use YouTube is because it's so much easier and everyone has access to YouTube. If I do this through the studio and then I upload it and I send you an announcement and you hit the link, you have to log into Canvas. You have to make sure that everything is working properly, as opposed to if I send you the email and you click on the link, everyone has YouTube. And if you don't have YouTube, the app, then it goes through your web browser, right? It's so much more convenient and faster to send the information if I do it via YouTube. That's why I do it. I don't do it to get thousands of views to get any type of monetary compensation. But hey, if you want to watch it over, be my guest. Watch it over and over. See what YouTube gives me. Yes, I am gonna. To answer your question, yes, I am gonna post it, and I'll upload once we're done. Once it downloads, I'll create an announcement. I'll send it out to you guys.
Thank you.
Yes. Other questions, comments, concerns? Well, I hope you guys found this information useful. I really hope that it answers some of the questions that you might have had. If for whatever reason I didn't hit the question that you had, shoot me an email, and then I'll be more than glad to send you some feedback. I am going to make one request, though, is that sometime during this week that you take time to reflect on the progress you've done and celebrate the victories that you have had. I know it hasn't been easy. I know it's been challenging, but that's what education does. It's supposed to challenge the way that you think. If we want a better society, then you have to change the way you think and view abuse. Collectively, we will find a way to provide better resources for children and survivors. And through this class and all the information that we've been researching and studying, hopefully it lights some form of motivation or inspiration for you to say, you know what, I need to share this information because I want to see a change in society. I know I do. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions, please make sure to email me. For those of you that celebrate Thanksgiving, have a wonderful, blessed, and safe Thanksgiving. For those of you that don't, enjoy the week off, and we'll be in touch. Have a good one.